What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. To keep the intro nice and short, today I'm going to be talking about the 6 things I wish I knew when I first started lifting. To give a little background, I first started lifting when I was around 15 years old, and mainly the only reason I was lifting was because I played sports. So the cross country season had just ended and we'd taken like a month or two break from running, just to give the body time to recuperate. But after that period, me and 2 buddies ended up signing up for the gym just to prepare for the track and field season, and that about sums it up. That was how I was introduced to the gym. But of course, from being 15 years old to 18 years old, there's a lot you can learn. But knowing what I know now, there's plenty of things I would have done differently. So the first thing I wish I knew when I first started lifting were the newbie gains. So what are newbie gains? Basically, newbie gains refer to a beginner lifter being able to build more muscle more quickly than a more experienced lifter. For example, a lifter who has been lifting for 5 or more years is limited on how much muscle they can naturally gain, which might be 1 to 2 pounds a year, while a beginner, if their training is optimal and their nutrition is optimal, they can gain over 10 pounds or more in their first year. But I just wish I would have taken advantage of them, because I spent the first year of my training just being really inconsistent, partly due to the fact that my main priority were sports. But for the first year or so, I was really on and off. I would maybe go once or twice a week. Now, the second thing that I wish I knew was that you need to eat in a calorie surplus to gain muscle. So it's basic science that energy does not come out of nowhere. Now, when I first started lifting, I was kind of eating whatever. I thought that if I just hit the gym, and that's where the muscle gain would come from. But honestly, building muscle, I would say, is 50% in the gym and 50% in the kitchen. So if I could go back, I would just make the decision to bulk. I spent the first couple years dirty bulking and then doing a cut and then dirty bulking again. I would have been much happier with the lean bulk instead of a dirty bulk. Instead of yo-yo dieting, I would have just stuck to a certain calorie surplus and then slowly built muscle over time, instead of gaining a substantial amount of weight in a couple months and then trying to cut down and then doing that again. And I feel like I would have made a lot more progress if from the beginning I would have been in a 300 to 500 calorie surplus. And apart from just making the most progress, it also isn't really healthy for your body. The third thing that I wish I would have done differently is change my split from a bro split to a push-pull leg split. So a bro split is basically when you hit one muscle every day, but you're only hitting it about once a week. You're basically only doing a muscle group 1 time per week, but you're doing a lot of volume for it. Now the issue with that, if you only train a muscle once a week, then you're only training it 4 times a month. It has been scientifically proven that hitting a muscle group 2 times a week is a lot more optimal for muscle growth than just simply 1 time a week. Now what I wish I would have done differently is I would have gone on a push-pull leg split. And I've talked about this in other videos. The push-pull leg split is when you do chest, shoulders, and triceps on Monday. On Tuesday you do back and biceps, and on Wednesday you do legs, and then you repeat that. Also want to talk about training each muscle evenly. So when I first started, being that I enjoyed training chest and legs a lot more than anything else, maybe I was only able to be in the gym 2 times a week, while it was probably certain that I definitely trained chest and legs those 2 days. Now the issue with this is that it just creates muscle imbalances later on, and you're going to be struggling to grow, say, your triceps, your shoulders, your back later on, because muscle growth isn't going to be as fast as it once was. Now to make sure you're training evenly, I would say as long as you're training pretty intense and maybe for the same amount of time, then you'll be pretty set. The fourth thing that I wish I would have known is that physiques can be deceiving. For example, my physique will obviously look better in perfect lighting with the pump than in terrible lighting after I just woke up. Now another issue, I would be scrolling on Instagram and see all these fitness influencers who would claim to go from this to that in 6 months, when in reality the only way they can do that is if they were on steroids or just had crazy genetics. So if you just started lifting, I just want you to remember that even if a physique is attainable, it might just be deceiving in the form that the picture was taken in good lighting or with the pump. Now the last thing that I wish I would have known or done is to take more progress pictures. So I only started taking progress pictures when I started seeing results, but I essentially don't have as many pictures of when I was at my lowest body weight. But I would recommend taking progress pictures just because it's nice to see, how you're progressing. And when you're training in the present, you don't really realize how far you've come unless you look back to where you started. Now progress pictures are easy to take as long as you get over the fear. You have to remember that at the end of the day, everybody's in the gym to better themselves, and nobody is judging you the way you think they are. So not only will progress pictures motivate you, but they'll also show you things that you might not be seeing. So maybe to me, my biceps look the same size as they did 6 months ago, but when you put a picture side by side with what I look like now and what I look like 6 months ago, then you might be able to totally notice a difference. Now if you are taking progress pictures, I would just recommend taking them in good lighting. That way the comparisons are as accurate as they can be. So while I did do a lot of things wrong, I also did a lot of things right. Kind of wanted to just share, just so you guys can also keep in mind. But the best thing I did was the way I trained. I was fairly interested in gaining strength, so I trained compounds with heavy weight. Compounds like bench press, squat, and barbell rows. And after I was done with the compounds, I would train accessories, which are things like cable flies, lat pull downs, and I would train them with lighter weight but more reps, and I would really focus on the time under tension. So for time under tension, a general rule is to do an exercise for 30 to 45 seconds, and I like to break it up into 15 reps so that you can do a 1 2 3 tempo, which would look like 1 2 3 1 2 3, and those are essentially 3 seconds long, so you would do 15 of those to get to 45 seconds. So that was 5 things I would do differently if I was just starting again. The thing with this video is that I understand that I did the best with what I had in the moment, but if you are able to learn from my mistakes, then the mistakes I made were worth making. I hope you guys enjoyed this style of video. It's a lot different than what my normal style of videos look like. I'm just trying to find new ways to create content that you guys might enjoy. In this video, I had the specific goal of maybe teaching guys something that you might not have known before. So I thought I would try something different. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. And make sure to check out my Instagram and my Snapchat. I'll see you guys later.